So, I'm going to get a little weird with you guys in this video. I'm actually going to talk to you about my starseed origin and how I know where I am from, what planetary system I am from, and it might give you some insight to figure out how or where you're from if you feel as if you are a starseed volunteer here on Earth, helping with ascension, healing, and awakening of the conscious collective. So stay tuned and I will tell you all about my journey of discovering that I am an Arcturian. Welcome to the Soul Alignment Mentor Podcast. I'm your host, Angie, and I'm inviting you to explore the depths of self-sabotage, limiting mindsets, and the beliefs that hinder our progress in life. Through intuitive messages I receive from my spirit team, I share profound insights to help you live authentically and break free from these limitations. Join me now as we uncover all the keys to living your best life. Welcome back. My name is Angie, and I'm your Soul Alignment Mentor, bringing you intuitive messages from my spirit team to help you align with your most authentic and highest self. So today, or in this episode, I am going to share some personal things about how I have discovered that I am an Arcturian. So if you don't know what I'm talking about, Arcturians are an extraterrestrial being, so an alien. And these beings live in where are on the planet maybe we would call Arcturus. So their dimension is about around 36 light years away is what I've kind of been able to get. And so these beings are aliens that live on this planetary system called Arcturus. So they're Arcturians. There are also beings that are with the Arcturians who are similar, who might be considered blue avians. So there's a lot of energy around the Arcturian race, and they are very high dimensional beings. So you could connect with the Arcturian being anywhere between the 5th dimension to the 12th dimension. And if you've ever heard me channeling or talking about the wisdom keepers, then you might know that there are Arcturians on the wisdom keepers council, which is a council of 12 beings that reside in the 12th dimension that hold the wisdom of the universe. And these beings, their goal is to help keep order of the entire universe, but there are parts of the wisdom keepers that are assigned to work with Earth to help Earth's frequency to ascend and to come back into a higher unity of love and frequency, like they maybe have originally wanted Earth to be in the first place. So how do I know this? And I will tell you that when I started to really dive into this, I absolutely felt crazy. So if you listen to me and you're like, this lady's nuts, I am going to not disagree with you. But I have had too much evidence to prove to me that I am not making any of this up. So let me just start with when I was a child. So I came to Earth, very unique. And I have an actual recording of my mother talking to me about how I came to Earth. Now, she's not 100% sure she knows that this is how I came, but I have memories of this. So before my mom had me, before I was born, when she was pregnant with me, about 8 months pregnant is when I arrived to Earth to come and assist Earth and help with the awakening that is happening now. And it was one evening, my mom and my dad were out to eat, and they were about 20 minutes away from their home, and they lived kind of out in the country. And my mom and my dad both tell the same story. They divorced when I was very young, so they didn't even know they were telling me the same story when I'd asked them questions. My dad has since passed, so I can't really talk to him about it anymore, but except for in spirit, because I do have a relationship with him there. But they have both shared the same story without knowing they were sharing the same story. So it was interesting that it lined up, even though neither of them knew I was talking to the other about this. And so before around 8 months, when they were out to eat, when my mom was 8 months pregnant with me, they were driving home. They were getting in their car to come back home from a restaurant. And my mom saw a light in the sky. And she thought it was kind of odd, and it was not really something she had seen before. And she asked my dad about it, like, what is that light? And my dad's like, I don't know, maybe it's a helicopter, maybe, whatever it could be. And this is in the 80s. So it's likely not to be something like a drone or something like that we would have seen like nowadays. But this light followed them all the way home to the home that they were living at at the time. And I remember my mom telling me she was kind of freaked out that this light was following them all the way home. And they get home, they get out of the car, they go into the house, and my mom decides to go into the backyard to see if this light is still there. And it is, and it's shining down. And she's watching it. She asked my dad to come out and see it. They're both standing in the backyard. They see this light in the sky. And she has this weird feeling that they're there to abduct me. She thought they're here to take my baby. And what she didn't realize was that was me coming. It was actually delivering her baby. And so in that moment, I have had memories open to me of coming down through a light and kind of squeezing myself into this baby body. Now, why would I have done that? Because I heard the call of Earth, that Earth needed support and help to move through an ascension and to release these karmic cycles that it's been in. And if you haven't studied any of Dolores Cannon's work, I highly recommend doing that, because you will hear her talk about these volunteers that came from other dimensions and that are here for the purpose of awakening the collective. And so here I come. I make a grand entrance through the light in the sky, and my mom says that she's watching this light. It just takes off and vanishes. It's like disappears. It's just gone. And so she freaks out about it a little bit. So here I come. I come to Earth. I'm delivered. I'm a baby. I remember seeing beings in my room as a very young child. I could see spirits. I could hear things. I experienced all kinds of things as a young child. I had angels that came to visit me. There was always this really deep spiritual connection that I had that I didn't really know how to explain. And I had the ability, and I knew that I had the ability to heal with my energy. And at one point when I was about 4 or 5 years old, I remember I had cut my leg. I was in the bath, and I don't remember how I cut my leg, but I remember I had cut my leg, maybe playing with something I shouldn't have. And I was afraid I was going to get in trouble. And so I knew I can heal this. I can just make this go away and I won't get in trouble. So I remember putting my hand on this cut that I had on my leg and telling it to heal. And I sat there and I held my hand over this cut and I said over and over, heal. God heal this. God heal this. God heal this. And I don't know how long I sat there. In my little mind, if what I remember, it felt like forever. And I'm sure it wasn't, because my mom would have came in and checked on me. But I remember watching this cut disappear off of my leg. And so when I tell people that we have the ability to heal with our energy, I know we do, because I've done it for myself. I've done a lot of healing for myself. And I'm not going to go into that, but I do know it's possible. So these are the very early memories I have about being super different, using energy to heal, connecting with other beings, coming to Earth through light, and all these things happened. Well, I have since learned that my mom saw that UFO that came to deliver me again when I was around 7 or 8. And then it showed up again when I was around 15 or 16. And I saw it that time. And so these beings have came to check on me since I've came to Earth. And at the time, I really did believe that they were there, and I could see this light in the sky following me around. but I never put together that maybe I was connected to them in some type of way until the recent years, where I have really opened myself up more to working with the wisdom keepers. And so, what has opened up for me is being able to communicate with the Arcturians, having out of body experiences, having visions and dreams, having spirits visit, like physically visiting me, and having a deep understanding of who the Arcturians are and how they relate to me, and how there is a frequency of me that is also an Arcturian. And that frequency of me that is an Arcturian, her name is Annabelle. And she plays the role as one of my guides. And so even though we might share a soul, like an oversoul, she is playing a part of an Arcturian and I am playing a part of a human. But I have the support from my soul, my higher self, from Annabelle, a part of my soul frequency that's in a higher dimension. From the Octarians, I have support. And I am able to work with other spirits who are my spirit guides, my dad's spirit, and all this, who have kind of guided me into this awareness of who I am. I've also done many past life regressions. I have connected through hypnotherapy. I've done a lot of different work to open myself up to this. If you would have asked me this 5 years ago, I probably would have told you that you were absolutely crazy. And here I am sitting and I am telling you, I know it's true, which is crazy to me that I can go from that's absolutely nuts, it's not possible, to I know for sure. So the Octarians, like I said, they're very high frequency beings. They're between the fifth and seventh, or the fifth and the 12th dimension. I can connect with the 12th dimension beings, and that is where the wisdom keepers reside. And they are very involved with the human race. They have a great compassion and empathy and desire to help humanity to grow, to heal, to ascend, to awaken. And they are described as they're very energetic, non-physical beings. So the visions that I've had of them, they are light beings that appear to be blue or bluish green, or like this very, very, very sparkly. And they appear very tall with very long arms and long legs, very like big eyes. Basically, if we were to see one here on Earth, I would say it looks like that movie Avatar, except for they're not physical beings. Like, they're just energy. So they don't actually have a physical body. And so they are very like they're translucent in their energy. So if they were to show up to present themselves to you, they're not going to look human at all. They are considered to be protectors and guides. So their primary role that they might be playing with humanity is to help guide humanity in this ascension. They help maintain the energy grid of Earth. And that's why they're so involved with Earth, is because they find keeping the energy of the universe sacred very important. And so therefore they know that for the energy of the universe, or for Earth to ascend into a 5D, the energetic grid also has to heal and has to rise. And so that is why humans have to heal and rise, because we're all one energy. And if humans don't heal and shift in their frequency, then the grid cannot do so. And we cannot shift into a higher dimension, which is what we are working on right now. The Octarians are very focused on healing, and they use light and they use sound. They use their energy, and their blueprint, the way that they are designed, is to be healers. And it's so interesting for me because over the years, ever since I was a child, I've known that I'm here to be a healer. And I just didn't know exactly what that would look like. But we also, as Arcturians, we can be drawn to the color blue. And we can be drawn to healing devices. We can be drawn to sound healing, to energy healing, to technology healing. Like, it doesn't mean you have to be involved in all of that, but you could be very drawn to different ways to understand healing, to help other people to heal and release trauma or karma, and to raise their vibration. They're very empathetic. They pick up on energy very easily. And so if you relate with being an Arcturian, you might be very energetically sensitive, and you might pick up on people's emotions very easily, which I do. You might even pick up on physical pain easily. And so if you are very deeply empathic and you feel things all the time that are not yours, that could be, I mean, it doesn't mean you are necessarily an Arcturian, but it could be a sign that you are connected with another higher frequency dimension, and that is part of your soul's region, or the frequency your soul is connected to. So the messages that Arcturians often speak about are, they talk a lot about humanity moving into a higher frequency and a higher dimension. Their main desire is to see, and they want to help us move away from separation to unity, to love, and to move out of what we're currently in, and to awaken back into the perspective and understanding of ourselves from our higher consciousness. They also have a very deep desire to help the earth heal. And that's nature, that's humans, that's everything here in this dimension. Because when we heal, when the earth heals, that helps the grid, that helps the energetic, the quantum field, the sacred geometry of the universe to align, to ascend, and to grow and expand itself. Um, they also work with the DNA in the human body to help it to ascend. And so you may work with an Arcturian, or if you've worked with me before, you may feel like energetic shifts happening in your body, or you might have really deep, profound experiences with your healing, and you may change overnight. Like, you may start to see, and it's amazing how quickly people can change. They can change within months to a year and be a completely different human. And if you work with an Arcturian healer, that is possible for you. And you might even begin to awaken yourself to see where your origin comes from, whether that's Arcturians or Pleiadians or Lemurians or wherever that might be. They also have this understanding that Earth is free will. So they don't have any desire to interfere with Earth, to interfere with the experience of being a human. And that is why they have sent volunteers here to be a part of the experience. So there are frequencies of the Arcturians that have volunteered to come down into human experience to become a human, because those of us that are connected and really resonate with being a starseed, we have integrated ourselves into this human experience so that we can help others with the human experience without overstepping boundaries of being a human, like of you being a human or us being a human. So by this common reality and relationship of we're both human, yet I am volunteering from a different dimension that comes to be a human, I don't ever overstep the boundaries of you being a human, and you don't overstep the boundaries of me being a human. And therefore, it is a free will desire to work with a healer that might be an Arcturian to help you to shift in your frequency, to heal and awaken something. So, why do I share all this? Well, one, because maybe you are wondering this about yourself. And if you are, it is very possible to figure that out. I highly encourage you to meditate, to ask your spirit team, to ask for real life experiences. I've had real life experiences to prove this to me. And it may not look like mine, but I'm here to tell you that it's possible. And it's not necessarily that important that you find out where you're from, but more so why you came and what your purpose is here on earth and the desires that you had before you came to help humanity. So if you are looking for support or a healer or someone to help you step into this frequency of knowing, or to even begin the process of trying to figure that out, set up a session with me or come join one of my communities, my healer circle or my ascension membership. And we talk about this stuff all the time. We have a great time together. It is amazing community, and we will hold space for you as you work through figuring all this stuff out for yourself. So reach out. The links are below. And yeah, until we meet again, I wish you the best day, night, evening, whatever time it is for you. I send you all the universal love. Namaste.